Greetings, my dear colleagues! You have completed another big and in-depth theoretical section on making a corset with 4 curves on the front. I hope it has become clear now that theory alone will not provide the necessary skills for you to get to actual work. It must be repeated once again that you should not completely immerse yourself in the theory. Stay away from trying to understand every intricacy of theoretical speculations and calculations in the minute details. Practice will eventually make its adjustments to the theory and will clarify certain points which otherwise would not sink in. Today, I propose that you sew a corset in a new technique, where in a one-piece corset, the cups will be outlined with round underwires. Such a cup is not a separate detail yet, but it is already a model of a cut-off cup built into one-piece details of the front. A cup of this kind functions very much like a cut-off one. However, the corset has a minimum number of seams on the front side. Since the one-piece corset with outlined or backstitched corset cups acquires the properties of the corset with cut-off cups, here are the cases when the use of such technique is justified. 1. The bust of any size which requires additional support. 2. The need to alter the anatomical shape of the bust. 3. The bust of a smaller size, the shape of which needs correcting with push-up pads. This technique is used for medium and deep necklines. It is not desirable to apply this technique for the women with large bust wearing high neckline clothes. Nor is this technique suitable for high straight neckline corsets, whatever the size is. Once again, just like I did it during our previous course on making a corset to a simplified technique, I absolutely insist that you don't bring about any changes of your own to the model design while making the corset. Once you have sewn this training piece and have had your hands-on experience of the peculiarities and perhaps pain points of this technique, you will realize how to dodge the difficulties if the model design is to be changed. So, here are the main ins and outs of this technique. Wriggling boning can be stitched in the cup area. Whether the boning is to be stitched depends on the size of the cup and the need in its strengthening. No matter the size, a circular underwire under each cup is a must. The number and width of the wriggling bones depend on the size and function of the garment, so as to strengthen the frame of the bodice or corset. The more bones there are, the firmer and sturdier against tightening the structure becomes. With the fewest number of bones, the garment can be called a bodice. As a rule, the technique of closed side seams is applied, as well as the technique of closed kneading of the upper raw edge of the corset. The lacing placket is prepared for washer installation. This does not mean, though, that air loops can't be used. I don't recommend strongly deviating from the suggested technique during the work on your first garment. Once you have sewn it and gripped the principle, you will be able to switch from washers to other types of lacing in no time. With these techniques of strengthening the cups and closed kneading of the upper raw edge, you can create any shape of neckline. To make this corset, you can use the sewing pattern you designed during our previous classes, but only if you have completed it and put the finishing touches to it. As for me, I will use an off-the-shelf standard sewing pattern of a corset with 4 curves, but I will fit it to the size of my dress form. You will have to adjust the size of the standard sewing pattern you've got. Make a mock-up, put it on the dress form, Take the measurements just like you would do from a real person. You can refer to the measurements I've taken. They are listed in the Pattern Measurements column of the spreadsheet, which you can find in the application for adjusting the sizes of standard sewing patterns. If your measurements differ from mine, you are welcome to enter them into the column. So let's get prepared to make a corset with outlined cups, a sweetheart neckline, and 4 curves on the front. The materials we will need: face and lining fabrics. Whenever possible, I use the same fabric for both the lining and the face of the garment. Firstly, it is beautiful. Secondly, it is justified from the technological point of view. The same fabric will be uniformly stretched, ironed out, fused, and so, when the same fabric is used, this lowers the possibility of nasty surprises at the finishing step of the garment assembly. I am talking about distortions, mismatches of the face and lining detail lengths after steaming, unequal fusion with woven interfacing, and so on. For my corset, I have chosen matte satin. This fabric is mid-weight. I recommend using mid-weight fabrics for sewing your first garments. Using lightweight fabrics is a very bad idea. Thin fabrics are way more difficult to work with. I will cut across, i.e., the waistline is located along the edge of the fabric or along the lengthwise grain. Depending on the size of your garment, you will need 120 to 150 centimeters of fabric. The width of this fabric may be between 90 and 150 centimeters. To duplicate the face and the lining, you will need fusible fabric in the same amount as of the face fabric and 20 centimeters more. 140 to 170 centimeters long, 90 to 150 centimeters wide. Additionally, you will need 0.5 meters of lightweight fusible. Unless you've got such, add another half a meter to the main fusible from the previous point. Wriggling bones 8 millimeters and 1.2 centimeters wide. You will understand which amount is required during the sewing process, as I will be giving away different options. To get yourself everything needed beforehand, you should get a hold of at least 5 meters of wriggling in each width. The best thing you could do is to buy a box of the fabric of each size and have it at hand for your future projects too. Also, you will need polyester batting, acrylan. This is the material which we will use very often in our work on all kinds of corsets and bodices. Provided that the material is 1 centimeter thick, you will need about half a meter of it for this project. Circular underwires of the right size. Underwire tunnel tape, 0.5 meters. You can provide yourself with a larger amount. You will then be able to use this tape instead of the wriggling bones in the areas where the edge is to be horizontally strengthened. The following are various expendables: satin ribbon, 0.5 centimeters to 1 centimeter wide and 2 meters long. Bias tape, 1 to 2 centimeters wide and about 2 meters long. Washers, 0.5 centimeters in diameter, 10 to 20 pieces depending on the height of the lacing. This corset can be sewn on a household sewing machine, while the steaming can be done with a household steam iron.